Hello, I hope everyone can hear me. Haven't done this in a minute. It must be since maybe November, the last one. Anyway, for those of you who don't know who I am Mandy Celine. Oh my god, I'm hearing the intro music. Hang on, let's figure out where that's coming from. No idea, we're hoping for the best. If as long as I don't hear myself. Nope, hearing myself. 2 seconds. Oh, I see. I had another tab up. Typical me. It shows that I'm rusty. I am Mandy Celine. I'm a director and editor based in London, and boy do I have a fun day for you. Before I go on, shout out to Jack Watson. She is in the chat, you know, keeping an eye on things for me, so really super appreciate that. Today we're doing something completely new. I've not done this before. I had this idea because I was like, I don't want to use the assets we've used before. I'm going to go out and shoot something, and we're just going to do something really fun. Hi, Rob. I see you. So for those of you who don't know, I went and got a puppy in December. He is a mostly good boy. He did steal a quiche at the park a week ago. So, you know, training's going okay. We were trying some things. We were trying the training, trying a bit of the fetch the ball, and he got distracted by a picnic. But basically, I decided that this little guy, he's quite expensive. Like, I love him to death, but you know, pets are expensive and he needs to contribute. So we are going to make a show reel that I can send to agents so that maybe he can be a star. He is adorable, so that's going to work in my favor, thankfully. But that is what we are going to do today. And by the way, before we move on, where is everyone, you know, watching from? I always like to see in the comments where we're all based. I'm in London in the UK. It's gotten very cold again. It was really unseasonably warm a week ago, and now it's like 15 degrees cooler, which is really mean. But let's get started, I think. Okay, so today, before we move on, I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to go through. And don't forget to also put in the comments if you're a beginner, intermediate or pro, because it's really nice to see what levels people are at. Oh, Sweden, by the way. Very cool. Today we're going to be going through some basics to begin with, like how to set up our workspace. It should already be mostly done in the template we've sent, but I am going to go through how to maneuver it, how to add things, take things away, you know, that kind of drill. We're also going to transcribe the voiceover today, listen through and pick our selects so that next week we can look at all the pretty visuals. Now, I will show you my dog before we get started on the visuals. I'm not going to leave you waiting till next week. That is really mean. But we are going to go through all of that, and we're going to do a little bit of text-based editing as well. So we'll do all of that together, and I think it will be great. And we've got about 20 minutes to do all of that. Do you think we could do it? I think so. Okay, beginners in the house, you'll really like the first part. So let's dip into Premiere with this mini-me on my bottom left of the screen. Great, it is all working. We love that. So this is Premiere Pro set up as I put in the file. You know what would be really nice for you? I'm going to set on my professional smart mouse so you can see it better. There we go. That's much nicer. So up here, this is our project. When you click on the link in the, what do we call those? The supplementary files, the things we work on, starter files, something like that. Basically, when you open that up, you should have something that looks roughly like this. I also last minute found out that all my footage was just extortionately big, so I made them into compilations for you, and I've already shoved a Rec 709 on them so that they're not log. So nobody panic, there's no grey footage for you this time. But you know how much I like to colour, right? Those of you that watched before, so another time. So I've organised our bins. If I'm gonna make this window really big so we can just focus on this window because it's quite important. This is the project window. To make that big, I did use the little tilde key. It's the one that has the like wiggly line. That's not quite a hyphen. In my keyboard, it sits next to the Z key, but Z key, whatever you want to call it. But maybe different on yours. Maybe you're not on a QWERTY keyboard. I don't know. You do you, babe. So basically I have sequences in a bin and we're going to make sequences together today. Don't you worry. My footage is organized. I've also labeled my footage as 1, 2, 3, 4 because I do tend to like organize my footage so it's got an order. We have the voiceover and we have a music file with no music in because this isn't a music week, but we will get to it. Now, if you might have different files here, and that's totally fine. Yours should also be spelled correctly because somebody is dyslexic and accidentally put 2 L's and didn't realize in the original files. So yours should say blue and not blue. But maybe you might have files in there that aren't in the start file anymore because I did change that. If that's the case, just, click on them, drag them to this little bin and get rid of them. And then if you want to add files in, it's super easy. I'm just going to drag up my Finder window. It's because I prepared it earlier. It's like I'm organized. And I'm going to click these 2 bits of footage because I know they're missing from my footage bins, these compilations, and I'm just going to drag that to my footage bin, and there they are. It is as easy as that if that is missing. So we can get rid of this window now. Ha ha ha. How are we doing? Okay, so to set up these bins, if you wanted more bins, I recommend organizing your workspace so you can find everything when it's shut easily. If you want more bins, maybe you've decided you want graphics, just click here and go new bin and type in 04 graphics. Simple. I don't need a graphics bin, so I'm going to get rid of that bin by pressing Ctrl-Z twice. And sequences. We'll get to sequences in a second because I just want to quickly go through the overall workspace here and what's going on. So we have the project window. I have the effects panel here, but honestly, we don't need it today. So you can just right click and close this panel right here. What's my zoom? What's my zoom? There it is. It's right here. That's not my zoom, but it will do. It will do. There's a zoom. There we go. Forgot my shortcut keys on my mouse. And then we also have effect controls and properties. Now, they both change things as they happen. We're not really going to use them today, so you can get rid of them. But if you want more space, because this is a little bit crammed, I'm not going to lie, we have our source and our program monitors. Our source basically shows us when we click on things in here, the source footage. Look at that good boy. Did he wink at us? We need to remember that for next week, guys. There's a wink. There's a wink. Oh, there's a wink. I'm so happy he did that. I didn't notice that when I was filming. So this is the source, and then the program shows us what's in your sequence or timeline, which we will start building in a moment. So if you want to have a bit more room, you can just pop it up here, and it will automatically switch between source and program monitor depending on where you are. So it's a quite smart system. So we'll do that. And that means I can now make the text tab just a fraction bigger because that's going to be nicer for us in a second. So how are we all doing? I think it looks good. I think we're doing good. Excellent. So we're going to start transcribing and making our sequences. To make our sequences, there are 2 ways. One, you can go to this little post-it note down here. There is a zoom. That's not the zoom. She's did it again. Here. It's this little post-it note here. Click that and then hit sequence. And you can do 1080p, 25 frames per second. And we can start calling it, I'm going to call this 01 because I like to label them because sometimes I change sequences and sometimes they're old, sometimes they're new. So 01, Juno, because that's the name of my dog. You can call it whatever you want. Showreel. And notice how I'm discovering some other keys are also zooming keys. Showreel, no, reel, please. And you can click OK. Now I would move that sequence up here so that it's in my sequences. So they're all organized. Now another way to do it, if I'm just going to click out of the sequence for a second, is you can just grab this footage and drag it in. The reason I didn't do that is because this footage is mostly 4K and 50 frames per second, and I want to be specific with how I set up my sequence. So when I set up my sequence, I'm just going to quickly show you again. I went for 1080p 25 frames a second. That's because my footage is 50 frames a second because I shoot in PAL If this was footage you shoot usually on your cameras in the UK, you probably US, you'd probably be shooting in NTSC, which I think is more like 60 frames kind of thing. And you can also get really bespoke by clicking this settings tab if you wanted. 1920 by 1080, 16:9, so that's a horizontal, not a vertical video in 1080p. And you can change the frames here. But this all looks great, and that's what I set up previously. So I'm just going to click cancel and open up this because we've made one already. Made two. Whoops, get rid of that. And I'm going to delete that because I'm not going to use that sequence. I'm not. And I'm staying organized. So what I want to start with is this voiceover. This voiceover is in the program monitor over here, and it's our audio we're going to work with. My husband has a American accent. As a German man, explain that one. And I asked him to record the voiceover to make it sound like we could do kind of like a commercial show reel. So if we want to transcribe it, if I click the footage here, my computer should have already transcribed everything. And that is because if I go up to File and Premiere Pro Settings and go down to, where is transcription? Media Analysis and Transcription. They've changed the name since I last did this. And you can click here and enable auto detection. And that means all your footage, audio, sound, like your voiceover sound, will automatically be transcribed when you upload that into Premiere Pro. Now, you might not have that turned on, which is totally understandable. So when you open it up, you'll click transcribe and you will click something along the line. It'll have a giant button and you'll click transcribe this. So I knew, see, by the way, I knew he was saying it wrong. Yesterday when we were recording this, I was like, it's entrepreneur, and he was like, it's intrapreneur. I was like, I don't think it is. So I love that the AI was on my side. Really proud of that. So let's give this a listen.
Meet Juno. Meet Juno. Meet Juno.
So like a true professional, because he is an actor as well. He's a photographer actor if we're getting really full on with that. He's done a couple of variations of all the words we want to use. We're going to very quickly go through and pick our favorites today as much as we can and put them in the timeline. So we could choose to select a bit, press copy, hit the sequence and paste. Nope, doesn't do it. So apparently that's not doing it. That's fine. We're going to just bring, oh, I see. So that's just done a selection for us. That's where I was getting confused. It's done a selection and I can just drag and it's only going to do that selection. I don't want that. So I'm going to go back into this, unselect that, and I'm just going to drag the whole of the audio in because we're going to do some text-based editing. And I personally find this easier when I'm editing a transcribing thing or a voiceover or like a really long interview. I will usually put it into a sequence because it's so much easier to text-based edit. So text-based editing is essentially like reading a document and editing the document. So if I wanted to delete a bit, let's pick our favorite Meet Juno.
Meet Juno. Meet Juno. Meet Juno. Meet Juno.
I like the second one. So firstly, I'm going to put my cursor here, select everything behind it, click delete, and down here, zoom, 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 zoom. We're going to have to zoom in, I think. You'll see the magic happen in a second when I select this gap across and get rid of the other Meet Junos and delete them. And it's created a cut over in our timeline. That's what that white line is, which I am blocking. Sorry, let me move to down here. Doesn't matter if I block this text. So it's created a cut in our sequence over here. And that is because it's created an edit, which is great. And this is quite a short transcript, so I'm really hoping we can do this as fast as possible. So Meet Juno. The next line is a 6-month-old entrepreneur with a passive income. So let's pick our favorite.
6-month-old entrepreneur.
Oh, from here, please.
A 6-month-old entrepreneur with a passive income. A 6-month-old entrepreneur with a passive income. A 6-month-old entrepreneur with a passive income. Hi, Mom.
I like the second one So I can do it that way again. Or another way to do it is I can select the second one right here, click copy, delete it, go up here, ahead of a 6-month-old, click paste, and now that take is there. It's second, and we can read, we're actually reading in real time what it is. I could have provided you with a script, but honestly, I didn't kind of own this down until yesterday. So far, we have Meet Juno, a 6-month-old entrepreneur beat with a passive income. The reason for that beat is I know I have a piece of footage where I'm going to whip pan quickly across to me. So
Meet Juno, a 6-month-old entrepreneur with a passive income.
And then we can get rid of everything here. And then you guys are going to have to tell me what's best. And I'll wait a bit to do this one. There's a couple of, hey moms, because it's going to whip to me going,
Hi mom. Hi mom.
I like that one.
Hi mom.
No.
That's right, mom. That's right, mom. That's right, mom. That's right, mom. Via mom and dad. Via mom and dad. Via mom and dad. Via mom and dad. Via mom and dad.
Oh, that one.
He will work for snacks. No
so I'm just going to
asked.
straight up, actually, I'm just going to delete all of that because the reason is although it's going to whip pan to me, I can also add a clip in of him cuddling Phil. So I will totally do that because he's both our dogs, I guess. Like he's singular dog. I didn't split the dog in half, to be super clear. We're going to have some shots of him next eating snacks and then chasing balls. So we need to pick, I think they're very important personality traits for him. So via mom and dad. And then we have, how are we doing on time? We're doing great.
He will work for snacks. No questions asked.
No.
He will work for snacks. No questions asked. He will work for snacks. No questions asked. No questions asked. No questions asked. No questions asked.
I was directing my husband again, but I think the second one works. So definitely don't want that one. Delete. Get rid of the gap. Because we can make gaps when we have the music and stuff. And there will be music in next week's starter file, which should be available to download. You can already see, like, the next episode is, you can go in and save it and all of this. And there should be a link to starter files by the end of this week. So if you want to play over the weekend, you totally can.
He will work for snacks. No questions asked. He will work for snacks. No questions asked.
Do we like the first or second one? I think I'm going to do the second one. Okay. Oh no, I deleted everything. Whoops. You can Control-Z it. I don't know how I did that. I must have accidentally selected everything, which easy to do with my mouse, I'll be honest. But, it's digital, so nothing matters. I wish that was the truth. So, right, we have so far 10 seconds.
Meet Juno, a 6-month-old entrepreneur with a passive income via mom and dad. He will work for snacks. No questions asked.
So far, they're very close together. But again, we will edit those with distance. At the moment, we're just selecting our very best takes because I'm going to use a voiceover and then to tell the story, and the music will help with the cutting of the visuals next week. I'll tell you more about what we're doing next week at the end. So we have some dogs chase dreams. Juno chases balls.
Some dogs chase dreams. Juno chases balls.
No.
Some dogs chase dreams. Juno chases balls. Some dogs chase dreams. Juno chases balls.
It's that one. I think it's that one. I'm definitely going to get rid of this stuff.
Some dogs chase dreams. Juno chases balls. When he's not chasing those balls, he's a full-time cuddle consultant. When he's not chasing those balls, he's a full-time cuddle consultant.
Yeah, I think that one's fine. I'm not even going to listen to that second full-time cuddle consultant. Do we have another take?
When
We do.
When he's not chasing those balls, He's a full-time cuddle consultant.
Oh, it's that one. I'm not... Sometimes you just know, you just feel it, you know? So we're going to get that and delete it. Great. Get rid of this gap. I mean, you can also get rid of gaps by searching all the gaps and deleting them, but I typically won't do that on this shorter video. I might do it on a really long, like, podcast video. No, not a podcast video even. Like a jump cut YouTube old school video. But I try not to do it unless they're really long pauses, because sometimes a pause is good. Okay.
Warning. Prolonged use.
No.
Warning. Prolonged phone use may result in passive-aggressive stares. Warning. Prolonged phone use may result in passive-aggressive stares.
Looking at time, we've got a few minutes left. Can we do it? Can we do it? Warning.
Warning. Prolonged phone use may result in passive-aggressive stares. Warning. Prolonged phone use may result in passive-aggressive stares.
Okay. Delete this.
Give Juno his...
It doesn't know Juno as a name.
To give Juno his 15 minutes of fame, drop him a DM. He'll be waiting. To give...
Here, let's try from here.
Waiting. To give Juno his 15 minutes of fame, drop him a DM. He'll be waiting.
I don't like
Drop
that,
a DM.
so...
Drop a DM.
Gonna get rid of all of that. To give Juno's 15 minutes of fame, drop him a DM. He'll be waiting. To give to... I think we've done it, guys. I think we've edited it. We edited the whole thing. Come on, delete. There we go.
To give Juno his 15 minutes of fame, drop him a DM. He'll be waiting.
There's a bang in that.
Drop a DM. Drop a DM. He'll be waiting. Drop a DM. He'll be waiting.
For argument's sake today, we're just going to use that one. And that is how you text-based edit. I wanted this to be a 30-second video. I can see it's going to be a 30-second video, which is awesome. So let's do a very kind of quick review of what we've done. So first off, we learned how to set up our workspaces. We learned how to organize our projects, make bins, make sequences. I think that's pretty good. Like that, you've basically learned how to use like Premiere. And then we will save it. Oh, I haven't told you. You can save, by the way, the bins as a template, but I'll show you at the beginning of the next one because it will be all organized in the next file. Will be a fun starter. And we learned how to make our selects and how to edit with text-based editing. We learned how to copy and paste, move things about, and have our timeline edited completely using text-based editing. I love that for us. Let's return to the main camera. So I want to very quickly go over what we're doing next week before we leave. Next week, we will be looking at the Juno footage, which is going to be, I realize, much more cute. Look at this guy. He's getting treats. He's running back. I tried this, by the way. I tried to do a whole shot where Juno, like, holds the ball and goes, "Arr," but he just wasn't having any of it. He wanted the ball in the air or not at all. I gave it a go at giving you guys some interesting shots. But lots of him catching stuff, flying through the air like he just don't care, doing a little bit of dancing. He's a good little boy. He's only 6 months old. I'm very proud of him. Yeah, so we'll be organizing our footage and editing this to music. I'll be showing you how to make a montage using markers as a quick way to do a very quick montage. So don't worry, your project will be organized to do that. I'm not going to leave you hanging. So we'll be able to do that within 20 minutes. And we're going to focus on editing our visuals to our sounds. And we're going to do some maybe minor tweaking on the voiceover. I think that might be week 3. But anyway, don't forget to head to the Discord and to share your work. Stay tuned for the next Adobe live stream. Up next is Phil Fallon, and he will be doing stuff on Adobe Express. I believe it is how to build a brand board using Adobe Express. See, I wrote it down. I like to be organized because I'm not going to remember that. I've been Mandy Celine. This has been great. And most importantly, thank you so much for joining me. And I will be here every Tuesday in May at the same time, which is 9 British time, 2 p.m. PST, I believe, and about 5, maybe EST. Maybe no, maybe 6. I don't know. I'm sorry. I tried. But I hope you have a great time, and I'll see you next week. Bye.